Good morning. Welcome to Cooking with Fiona, episode 11. This morning we are going to be cooking apple cider bundt cake, and this is a bundt can, baking can. So we're going to start off by 2 cups of apple cider, which are going to be reduced. And you put that in a pot and you reduce it to a cup. So, and it takes about 20 minutes. So then we are going to start with our butter. And we have a half a cup of butter, which we're going to cream. Now creaming is making it light and fluffy. And it's a very simple process. So you cream the butter.
A few minutes later.
So we're putting in a half a cup of, I beg your pardon, 3/4 of a cup of white sugar and 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And this is blended in and creamed as well with the butter.
A few minutes later.
Then we add 2 eggs, which are going to be creamed in with this mixture, which is the creamed butter and the sugar. And we mix that well.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so you set aside and put in a small bowl 1 cup of that reduced apple cider. So you basically put 2 cups of apple cider and you reduce it in a pan. And this is 1 cup of reduced apple cider. And you add to that a half a cup of milk. And then I have to measure this. And then you add 1/4 of a cup. I use canola oil. And in actual fact, you can use grapeseed oil or canola oil. I chose to use canola oil. And you mix that in with the milk and the apple cider. Stir it all up. So there's 3 phases of making this. So then you add, in another bowl, 2½ cups of flour and 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. And that's about 1, and that's 1/2. That's about it. And then 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So there we go. And then 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. ½ teaspoon. And then 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Okay. All right. And I have whole nutmeg, of which I will be grating, but you actually put 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg as well. So we're just going to do a little guess on this. I would say 1/2 of nutmeg, whole nutmeg is about 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, and then you have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then you blend all that together. Stir all that together. So you have 3 bowls, and what you do next is you're going to be blending the bowls together slowly. The whole objective is to mix this cake very slowly. So we're going to use dry ingredients into the butter, and then we're going to use the wet, the liquid. And then we start to blend it.
A few minutes later.
And then we do the same until we're finished with each bowl. A third at a time. And then this. Okay, so we're getting there. It is a slow process, but we're getting there.
A few minutes later.
So we're going to put the rest of the dry ingredients in, and we're going to put the rest of the liquid ingredients. And by the way, this does smell absolutely scrumptious. And it does because of all the lovely smells of the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and the allspice. So they all will make this apple cider bundt cake delicious.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so we go over here. So we've got the bundt pan, and we're going to spray it with Pam or whatever cooking spray you have. Really dose it with Pam spray, cooking spray. And then we're going to pour this delicious batter into the bundt cake pan. This is good for someone to lick. There we go. So here we go. Now this is put into a preheated oven of 350 for 45 to 50 minutes until when you put the knife in or whatever you use, straw, then it has no crumbs on it, then it's done. I'm going to talk about the coating. There we go. Voila. It's not cooked. We've got to put it in the oven. So I'm going to put it in the oven and cook it for 45 to 50 minutes. So once it's cooked and you stick the knife in it and the crumbs don't come out, and it's clean of crumbs. Once it's cooked, cooled, and left for about 20 minutes, then you put a delicious, yummy coating. It's 2 tablespoons of melted butter, which you spread all over the bundt cake, and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So that is sprinkled over the top. So you put your butter and then you put your sprinkle your sugar and cinnamon. At the end, this is Fiona's apple cider bundt cake, which is dressed with bougainvillea flowers from my garden. This is the end result. So as you know, I'm a real estate agent and I also love to cook. So Lee Home Cottage, which I've just listed in impeccable condition, has been totally renovated with a brand new kitchen, with a country farm sink, ceramic white country farm sink, and wooden countertops. And the flooring is all new, maple flooring throughout. The bathroom is totally renovated with a walk-in shower and brick tile flooring. It just blew people away. It really did. And it was the epitome of how a house should be dressed and ready for showtime and will sell. That's what sellers need to do. They need to get their house ready and dressed to perfection. Please call me, 534-9932, or text me on that number. Also, look at the video of Lee Home Cottage. It's a fantastic video, and it will show you exactly how it looks and how you should get your house ready for showtime. The link of Lee Home Cottage is in the description. Have a look at it. It's really special. So you know where the Hatfields, and I always have a hat. So my friend who's filming this, Colin Hassel, is filming this. We are going to sit down and have a cup of coffee, and we're going to have a slice of this apple cider bundt cake, and I'm going to tell you, it is going to be delicious. So this is my afternoon tea hat. Have a lovely day. Look forward to seeing you next month. Colin and I are going to enjoy a slice of this. It's delicious. have 2 big bites. But look at that. Look at that moist cake. There you go. How about that? That is delicious. It is going to be delicious. And I look forward to enjoying it with my friend Colin Haskell, who's been very much a part of Cooking with Fiona. Thank you. See you soon.
Please call Fiona Hatfield on 534-9932 or email at fhatfield@brcl.bm.